Hi, I'm Joe Bulanda. I'm a sophomore here at Purdue studying construction engineering and management, and this past summer I interned with Shambaugh & Son in their mechanical division. This company does a lot of different work, including mechanical construction, electrical work, fire protection, and refrigeration work. The job sites I worked on mostly were in the headquarters, which are in Fort Wayne, Indiana, which is where all the project managers' offices are and offices for the whole company. I also worked a lot on site in Marion, Indiana, which is about an hour south of Fort Wayne, at the General Motors stamping facility, which is where they do the pressing for new vehicles, like the body panels and things like that. I also worked at the B.F. Goodrich in Woodburn and the Steel Dynamics in Butler. The work done by Shambaugh and the General Motors, it's a huge project. They're renovating a large portion of their building to make room for new, taller presses, so they need to raise the roof and redo all the piping and the flooring and everything in that area. So Shambaugh got the contract to do the demo work and remove all the old existing pipes in the area, and now they got the whole contract to do the rest of the job to install the new piping. And at B.F. Goodrich, we have contracts with them, but a lot of the work that they do is on shutdowns, and because of the relationship my project manager has with the facility there, they always bring in Shambaugh to do the work. They do a lot of work every shutdown, which is typically around major holidays. Oh, and this picture is of the Marion job site. That crane is a giant crane. It took 35 truckloads to assemble it and get it on site. And the roof of the building you can see to the right there is 70 feet tall currently, and obviously the crane goes well above that. It's just a very large piece of equipment that was very neat to get to see in use. My daily tasks and responsibilities, when I was in Marion, I had to do daily safety tours where I walked down site and I had to interview one of the Shambaugh workers and make sure they were following all the rules and safety procedures and that they knew what was going on all the time, because GM's super big about safety, as it's very important, especially on large jobs. So they made us fill out a form every day. Because it's such a big job, we also had a lot of change orders, because the original job was quoted one way and then things changed and they want us to do it a different way. So I worked on filling out GM-specific change order forms. I also built a billing schedule and a billing breakdown for the job. And when I was on site there, I did a lot of technology work for the guys in the trailer, because a lot of them are just union workers who didn't go to college, and I'm in college and I'm young and have been using a computer my whole life. So I helped them figure out their emails, their printers, all sorts of things like that. And then I had a lot of different random tasks I also had to do. So I would drive a truck, the Shambaugh truck. I went and picked up welders, tables, chairs, tools from job sites all across Northeast Indiana, bring them back to the shop, bring stuff out to the sites, just running around, picking people up, doing whatever my project manager needed me to do. My greatest triumph was the impact I was able to make, especially on the Marion job site. Especially the schedule I created for the job that they were working on. It took a lot of effort and time, and we worked really hard on it to make sure that it was up to par and looked good compared to the other companies' schedules. And then my last day, this is where this picture's from. They cooked me a nice big steak, which I think represents the relationships I was able to build with the guys on site and with the company, because I don't think a lot of other interns would have gotten the opportunity to have something like that on their last day. So I think that just speaks to how much they liked me and how much I was able to help them. Lessons learned, I learned a lot of different things this summer. Terminology is a huge one. I'd never worked in construction before, so just hearing different names for different tools, I didn't even know what half the tools did or anything, but I figured it out and I learned what they're called, what they do. I learned how to run pipe, how it works, the process behind quoting and estimating it, and things like that. I caught on pretty quick, but not quick enough. My second week there, they were getting rid of the flooring in the GM facility, and I went back and told one of the project managers that they were demoing a hole, which is not the thing to say. I know that now, but I got made fun of for that a little bit. It was pretty funny if you weren't me. And then another thing I learned was the culture. It's a lot like the terminology, but just the way that people talk with each other and they act professional on site is very different than I thought that it would be in the terms of acting professional. But I figured out how to conduct myself properly in those situations. And also working with Shambaugh, they're a union contractor, so there was a lot of stuff I wasn't allowed to do because I'm not in the union. Like I wasn't allowed to touch pipes, I wasn't allowed to handle tools or equipment. I was able to drive the trucks, but that's about it. I just had to watch them. I couldn't tell anybody what to do, obviously, because nobody will listen to me, but also because it's the union site superintendent's job to tell the guys what to do. And then another thing I had to learn was punctuality. Being on time is very important in the construction industry. Near the end of my summer, I showed up late, about an hour late to work one day. My project manager sat me down, had a real big conversation with me about how he was very disappointed in how I showed up late. And it was really not a fun conversation to be had, but a lesson I needed to learn. It also happened to be the day that the vice president of the mechanical division came down, so I got to chat with him about why I was late, and it really resonated with me, and I wasn't late the rest of the summer. I always showed up on time or early. And then another thing I learned was ownership. If you make a mistake, you just gotta admit that you make a mistake, because they understand that you're 19 as an intern, you're gonna make mistakes. But if you try and pass that to somebody else, they don't like that, because it's not somebody else's fault, it's your fault. You had to do what you were supposed to do. But learn that, and now I know how to take ownership over my own mistakes. And I've learned a lot this summer. I had an absolutely wonderful time. It was great meeting all these people and getting the experience that I needed for this major.